right, January is over. Did you set resolutions? Where are you at with those? How's that going? Today we're going to talk about refocusing in on your goals. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I actually did a mini masterclass that I have available for you if you want for free. In the description below, I will put a link. But in this video, I will just kind of touch the tip of the iceberg here and go through all the ways that we can kind of zoom out and look at the big picture of what's going on and determine where and when and how we want to refocus our energy, attention, and efforts. So before zooming in, we need to zoom out. Think of your life as a whole. Think of your business as a whole. Ask yourself, if money, time, location were no object, how would I live my life? What actions would I be taking? Who would I be spending my time with? Where would I be spending my time? This is a really fun exercise. And I know in the past I've recommended, envisioning you come into this fortune of money, more money than you can even think of. How would you use it? What would you end up doing? And then if you didn't have to work, what would you be doing? So what this exercise does is it takes you away from your situation and it allows you to reset your priorities, the pillars of what's important to you. This is really important because what happens when we're in the day-to-day of our business is we start making decisions out of habit or on autopilot, or sometimes even making decisions based off of fears of not having enough or not being able to do certain things. We put a ceiling, right? A cap on what is actually possible for us. And so zooming out and looking at it this way really gives you the opportunity to reconnect with that inner self and your values and goals. One thing I also find helpful here is if you break this down into categories. So in my mini masterclass, as well as the vision board video class, both which are linked below, we talk about breaking things down into categories. This is helpful because sometimes we don't know where to start. Especially if you've not done this before, you might come into this going, oh, I don't know. And so by breaking it into each category, it helps our brains focus in and to be able to think about these areas of our life and how we want them to be improved, how we wish things were. So the categories are spiritual, personal, wellness, relationships, finance, career, business, and lifestyle. I want you to use this as a tool and not something to get hung up on. If you don't have something for a category, or if you feel like two categories kind of merge together, don't worry about it. Just keep writing or talking if you're a talker like me. Sometimes instead of using a notepad to write down my thoughts, I will just turn on an audio recorder and speak to it. So however you do it, let it all out. If all of these things were no object, if you had all the money in the world, all the time in the world, if you could be anywhere, what would you be doing with your life? So after this visioning exercise, it's time to come back down to earth. Look at where you currently are. In all of these same categories, what does your life currently look like? What kinds of things are you doing in each of these categories? Are they a priority to you right now? Are they not? Do you wish that they were? From there, you can identify the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Now, don't get overwhelmed about this. I know it's easy to beat ourselves up. It's easy to start feeling like, oh gosh, I'm never going to get to where I want to go. But then in some other areas, you might be really close. You might be closer than you even thought you were once you see it on paper in front of you. Right now, I want you to choose one. You can always come back to this exercise later, but for now, choose one gap that you want to work on filling. And from there, it's all about breaking it down into next steps. And this works differently for different people. Some people like to reverse engineer. They start with the goal in mind and they think, what would I need to have this? I would need this. And how would I get that? I would need this. And how would I get that? And so on and so forth. And some people know where they're stuck. They know what the next step is. Sometimes you don't know why you're not doing the next step. And so I encourage you to sit down and write down, what would it take for me to get this one thing done? Because often, this happens to me a lot, there are like 2 or 3 things that actually have to be done for this thing that you thought was one task. And so breaking that down into smaller, more micro things will actually help free your brain up to see where you actually are stuck and how you can move forward. It might mean that you need to ask for help or reach out to someone. It might mean that you need to buy a piece of software or equipment. It might mean that you just need to go into your calendar and block off an hour of time to sit down and work on this thing. And you know, because I've said this before, but getting someone to sit with you while you work as like an accountability partner is huge. Because so often when it's just us and there's no one else there to hold us accountable, we say, oh, we can do this tomorrow. And we make justifications. And this is something that's really important to you. Remember your big vision. This thing is going to help you get there. Now I want you to rewind back in your mind to to the beginning of the year and what goals you had set for yourself. Now that you've done the visioning exercise, are the goals that you set for yourself the same? Are they slightly different? Or are they totally off? I want to hear from you in the comments below. If you want to go even deeper with this, as I've mentioned before, I have a mini masterclass that is linked below in the description. Check it out. It's completely free and it will take you through this process and hold space for you to really dream big and bring all of these priorities into focus. Until next time, you've got this.